Shaping the future of Scottsbluff was the focus of a kickoff meeting this week. KNEB.TV News starts right now.
From your trusted source for news in western Nebraska and eastern Wyoming, this is KNEB.TV News. Presented by Platte Valley Companies, premier provider of financial services.
Hello, I'm Ryan Murphy. This is KNEB.TV News powered by Platte Valley Companies. Thanks for joining me. In our top story, several dozen residents were on hand this week for the City of Scottsbluff's comprehensive plan kickoff open house. The living document will be a culmination of goals and visions for the city for the foreseeable future. During Tuesday's session at the Midwest Theater, Bill Knapper said he had concerns about focus groups being invitation only.
I fear by invitation only you'll end up with too much of the existing thought that's out there and not have enough new and different ideas.
Okay. To answer that, part of the process will be by invitation for the focus groups, but while we're out here doing those, we're going to be in the community in the evenings doing open house type of information gathering as well. So it's a two-part system.
Several attendees also wanted to make sure that the minority population's voice is sought after and listened to as Marvin planning consultants begin their process of developing the comprehensive plan.
Are you going to ensure that you're down on the ground and you're out in the actual community and trying to go and talk to people rather than we're having a meeting at this time and you come to us type of situation?
The biggest thing I look at is it's not that we do a structured town hall meeting in a specific way. I put that in there as a public town hall meeting. But once we're out here, if we're coming out here when we do this for 3 to 4 days minimum. So we're going to reach out to people however we need to get once we get here, that's the cost.
Our community is very diverse, and there wasn't any research regarding the diversity makeup, the racial makeup of our community. So my first question is, how are you going to incorporate diversity, equity, and inclusion within the comprehensive plan?
On the diversity element of the comp plan, it definitely needs to be addressed in a location-sensitive context. And so in our conversations and discussions with individuals of what that means and how it's reflected in this community, that's part of the discovery process that has to happen.
It's estimated that it will take 12 to 18 months to get a completed comprehensive plan, but City Manager Kevin Spencer said that once it's finished, it will be a main priority to take action and implement its goals.
We're very determined that this is a plan that we can implement, and in our conversations that we've had so far, I've been very impressed with setting the goals, the objectives, and the implementation plan.
You can follow KNEB.com through the coming months with updates and when and where Marvin Planning Consultants will be as they begin the process to talk to citizens about their views on what can make the city a better place to live. Well, a Gering woman accused of running over a man with her vehicle during a February altercation has been sentenced. 25-year-old Abigail Moreno was arrested after Scottsbluff police were dispatched to the intersection of 15th Street and 15th Avenue and made contact with the victim, who was bleeding profusely. Witnesses say a woman later identified as Moreno was the driver of the SUV used in the attack, and officers later found chain-link fence stuck under her vehicle. She pleaded guilty to amended felony charges of second-degree assault and leaving the scene of an injury accident, and in exchange for her pleas, 2 other charges were dismissed. On Wednesday in Scottsbluff County District Court, Moreno was sentenced to a term of 18 months probation, plus court costs and probation fees. We'll have more news right after this.
Looking for free instead of fees? Platte Valley Bank can help you keep your finances moving forward with no ATM fees. Whether you're headed to the lake, the mountains, or just to the grocery store, you can enjoy the freedom of free ATM access anywhere, anytime. Platte Valley Bank. You belong here.
Well, July is Sun Safety Awareness Month, and the Nebraska Cancer Coalition is working to increase awareness of sun safety and skin cancer. We are joined today by Kathy Murphy, a rural nurse practitioner in Red Cloud with the Webster County Community Hospital. Skin cancer is the most common cancer in the United States, with melanoma of the skin being the fifth most common cancer in Nebraska. The good news is that early detection of skin cancer can save lives. And Kathy, why is early detection of melanoma so important?
Oh my, it is very important because the sooner we diagnose, the sooner we can get treatment going, and the higher survival rate goes is directly correlated with that.
What can Nebraskans do to help with early detection of melanoma?
Well, I am a big proponent of doing screenings, and so that may include you going to your family practice provider and having a yearly checkup, and of course, including the skin as part of that screening. But also, we have some screenings available throughout the state, and it would be a great idea to attend one of those if you don't see your primary care yearly for a skin check.
What all goes through a skin check? What is that whole process like?
Well, so if you go to a dermatologist, they usually look you over from head to toe. In some of our screenings, we mainly focus on the areas where the sun hits. So, of course, your face, your ears, your neck, your upper back, your arms, and your legs. But if you go in to see your primary care, they may have you kind of disrobe and look all over because melanoma can hide anywhere, and so it's not always just the sun exposure, but so it's good to check everywhere.
What are some of the factors for a higher risk of skin cancer?
Well, if you're one of the Nebraskans or somebody here in the United States that has light skin, you have light colored complexion, your skin freckles easily, you have light colored hair, and like blue and green eyes. I think those are some of the things that put you at a little bit higher risk. And then, of course, we always promote trying to decrease that risk by using sunscreen, hats, good cover for your arms and legs when you're out in the sun, and also avoiding being in the sun from when it's the hottest, from like 10 a.m. to about 4 p.m.
And you kind of led into it. Obviously, you want to try to be safe when you're going out into the sun. And so, what are some of those main habits, other than the ones you mentioned, that people can do to be safe when they're going outside?
Well, we are big proponents of sunscreen, and there's only about 30% of people really do a lot to prevent sun damage. And so I'm always startled by that because I see a lot of people putting sunscreen on. But one of the problems is that you can apply it, but if you don't reapply it while you're out there, then it loses its effectiveness. And so reapplying sunscreen, making sure it's at least 15% or a 15 SPF or higher. And if you're going to be out for an extended amount of time, we usually recommend a 30 SPF or higher to be applied every couple of hours. Or if you happen to be in the water, the water is going to decrease that effectiveness. So then when you get out of the water, you need to reapply. Or if you're sweating and that kind of thing, you need to reapply then too.
Kathy, is there any other information that you think would be good for Nebraskans to know just about being safe to prevent skin cancer?
Well, I think all of us have to take responsibility for our own health care, and we want to encourage everyone to think of skincare as part of their overall wellness. So we want you to think about it before you're going to the lake, before you're going out in the sun to even do your yard work. If you're just going outside for a few hours, all of those are times when you just really need to use prevention. And also, if you're out and about, like around Husker Harvest Days, we have skin screenings all 3 days there. And at South Heartland District Health, we're doing some skin screenings at the local golf courses. And so you might run into us there wanting to give you a skin screen.
Kathy, that's all I have for you. Thank you so much for this information.
Well, you are welcome. Thank you.
I imagined retirement in a place where we could enjoy our golden years, where adventure and friendship are the only items on the schedule. The Garden Homes at Northfield gives us the luxury we planned for and peace of mind when it comes to convenience, safety, and comfort. We never have to stop and think about the day-to-day upkeep. We love to explore abroad, but most importantly in our backyard. So much to do, so much to see. Here at Northfield, we get the protection of life care, incredible tax benefits, and secured rates for aging services. It's peaceful, knowing that if our needs change, we'll be taken care of. And most importantly, that our kids will never have to make any tough decisions. There never seemed to be enough time to do all the things we wanted. Now we get to focus our energy on enjoying what this community has to offer. At the Garden Homes, life is ours again. A place we had dreamed about. A chance to focus on us.
This is KNEB.TV weather from the KNEB Storm Center, your trusted source for weather.
Pretty nice weather conditions across the area this evening. Just a stray thunderstorm, that's about it. Temperatures fall down into the 60s as we get towards sunrise tomorrow. Yesterday hit 90, that's just about average. 59, just below average for a low. As far as precip goes, 400ths more in the rain gauge yesterday. Still should have about an inch, and we're at about a quarter of an inch, so we still got a lot of catching up to do. We were back above normal today at 93 degrees, and again, those 400ths yesterday from rain showers that moved across the region. The forecast for precip this week, pretty low. Tomorrow, Sunday, an isolated storm. That's about it. Winds are also going to be light. We don't see much out there happening in the wind department, so that's also very good. Let's take a look at severe weather threat here for tonight. It's in our area and a marginal risk. Same for tomorrow, although a slightly higher risk. We do have a few areas there that are under a slight risk of severe weather. That's going to include areas from basically Sydney up through Hyannis, Thedford, North Platte, Broken Bow, and Imperial. And then as we move on into Saturday, that severe threat goes away. Temperatures a little cooler around Cheyenne where we've had some rain showers, otherwise 80s and 90s. Winds are light outside of those thunder showers as well, some gusts up to 20. Futurecast looks like we're going to be partly to mostly sunny to start the day. We'll warm from 71 up to 87 by lunchtime and eventually topping out in the low 90s. Futurecast tonight does show a few thunderstorms out there. Very small chance of those. They move out, and then tomorrow we reset the stage in the afternoon for another round of isolated to widely scattered showers and storms. They move out, and then Saturday, a lesser chance of showers and storms, but still a few over the region as we go Saturday afternoon into Saturday night. Lows tonight going to be in the 60s. Highs tomorrow primarily in the 80s and 90s. Low 90s for the most part, or upper 80s. And the precip here looks pretty quiet till we get late into the Friday, Saturday time frame, and then we could easily pick up an inch or more in some areas. Otherwise, some areas less than a tenth of an inch or trace is all we're going to get out of the next couple of days.
Pet waste and water don't mix. Animal waste decomposes in water, releasing nutrients, which deplete the oxygen fish and other life need to survive and encourage harmful algae growth. Animal waste also has disease-carrying bacteria, making contaminated water unusable. It's easy to prevent pet waste pollution. Simply pick up your pet's waste and dispose of it in a trash can, and avoid letting your pets defecate within 200 feet of our community's waterways. Tri-City Stormwater reminds you it's our water, our responsibility.
Now the latest from the Scottsbluff Body and Paint Sports Desk. Scottsbluff Body and Paint. You're driving home our reputation.
It's a Hall of Fame type day here on the Thursday TV update. Earlier this week, Scottsbluff High School announced their 2024 Hall of Fame induction class. It includes 21 individuals and 3 teams or eras of teams. This is just the second year for the Hall of Fame, so the second induction class, and it's a tedious process, according to former Bearcat and committee member Jay Ayler.
Well, the committee gets together a handful of times a year to talk about the different people that maybe need to be inducted. During these early years, we're focusing a lot of our time on people that are from a ways back. Been some are deceased, some are still around, but people that maybe were great athletes here at Scottsbluff in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, even 70s. So we're kind of focusing on them, but then we also are receiving nominations. And, there's been several great athletes go through here, and so we're kind of sprinkling in some of them as well.
Yeah, athletes and teams spanning 9 decades, all the way back to the 1930s up to as recent as 2014. Another selection committee member, Burt Wright, has been in charge of tracking down some of the stats, the numbers, and learning a lot along the way in this process.
That is the fun part, going back in annuals and talking to some old timers about people from the past. And, there's names that have been lost that were like, who? Who's that? People from the 50s and before, where once you do some research, what they've done is pretty amazing. Like, Larry Donovan, for instance, was part of that 1958 football team, which was undefeated. And I think they outscored their opponents that year 453 to like 38. I mean, I'm not kidding. That's crazy. But he was all state and everything. He set the state record in the pole vault, won the gold medal in that. And then talking to him last week on the phone to let him know of his nomination. He was the head football coach at Montana State. He was the head coach in the CFL, Canadian Football League, for 2 years. So there's a lot more to some of these guys, like Leo Stengel's another one, former athletic director, teacher, basketball coach, and looking back at some of his accolades, he coached state championship football team, track team in the 30s, and then was the head coach for the 1941 state championship basketball team, which was 26-0. So there's a lot we've discovered that's been pretty profound.
Of course, current Scottsbluff AD Dave Hawksworth heavily involved in this annual project as well, and he says they learned quite a bit from last year to this year in terms of just how things should be working.
Well, planning the banquet is one thing. The other thing is the length of the banquet last year. With as many as we tried to do, it got a little bit long, so we're making some adjustments there. And the other thing that I think that has come forth is just the amount of support. We thought people would be supportive, but it was very well attended last year, and it was so fun to see the stories. And then the support that came in. As you'll see this TV, this touchscreen that's behind us, we are using the funds that were generated from that night and that'll go on forward to help, further benefit Scottsbluff High School.
And let's go ahead and highlight one of the soon-to-be inductees, the architect of modern-day Scottsbluff Bearcat football. That would be former head coach Gary Hartman.
Gary Hartman's a great friend of mine, and when I first started coaching here, I started at the middle school level. I did that for 4 years. Then he moved me into freshman, moved me up to the high school, and was on the high school staff for 17 years eventually. One of the things that stands out, the story that I always tell about Gary, is he let us coach, and he trusted us to do our job. And so he knew that we would put in the time and work at it, and he supported us. And so as the head coach, a lot of times all he did was kind of move the pieces, but he trusted Coach Benson, Coach Deaver, Coach Moran, myself to go do our jobs and coach. And at the end of the day, he was the head coach, and if it didn't go right, he shouldered the blame, and if it went well, we celebrated all together. And that is by far, anytime anybody asked me about Coach Hartman, that's what it was. He didn't micromanage the staff. He trusted us to do our job, and you knew that.
The full rundown on the entire list was posted on the website earlier this week. You can see everyone elected in that story online. Induction night will be Friday, October 18th as part of a McCook at Scottsbluff football Friday night. That's the latest today from the Scottsbluff Body and Paint Sports Desk. I'm Chris Cottrell.
Santa in the pool? Oh my! Renewal by Anderson's incredible Christmas in July 2024 event is so great that even Santa is shocked. 20% off, no money down, no interest, no payments for 18 months. No payments until 2026. Windows, patio, and entry doors from Renewal by Anderson. And Renewal's acclaim and ensemble lines are the best of the best. Imagine no payments until 26. Please visit rbawyoming.com now. It's Christmas in July at Renewal by Anderson. It's so good even Santa is shocked.
Let's take a look at your community calendar, brought to you by Riverstone Bank. The community calendar is brought to you by Riverstone Bank. We're local and we love our community.
Tired of feeling stuck? Not sure if you are on the right track? Platte Valley Bank can help keep your finances moving forward with checking account options to fit your lifestyle and an online account chooser to make finding the right account easy. Control your financial future with helpful budgeting tools and automatic savings plans. Now is the time to enjoy the ride with Platte Valley Bank. You belong here.
And finally tonight, It's an exciting weekend planned at the Midwest Theater in Scottsbluff as they are showing a summer blockbuster movie on its opening weekend. Twisters, a standalone sequel to the 1996 smash film Twister, will be hitting the big screen. Midwest Theater director Tina Worthman says that she is super excited to be showing the new film on its opening weekend.
Well, Twisters, I mean, the original that was in the 90s, I mean, it was one of the best movies probably ever, maybe. And being that tornadoes and tornado chasing are so popular in our community, and I think it's going to be, in my opinion, the movie of the summer. So we decided to do it for 2 full weekends. During the opening weekend this Friday night at the Midwest, we're going to have some local storm chasers there with their crazy vehicles that have gotten beat up by tornadoes and all the other stuff. So we have some special events and some fun things going on all weekend. We're excited.
Friday and Saturday showtimes will be 1:30 and 7, and on Sunday, just the 1:30 matinee. Well, that does it for us this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay safe out there. We'll see you here next time.